My beloved child, do you know there are attacks that make no sound, do not shake the earth, yet they erode the soul little by little? I see you still smiling, still moving forward, but your spiritual breath has grown faint without you even realizing it. As you stand at the threshold of the new season I have prepared for you, I want you to stay awake, because the most dangerous blows always come from the place you believe is safest. Long ago, before David faced Goliath, very few noticed that the real battle did not begin on the battlefield. It began on a quiet afternoon where the young boy stood in the stillness of open fields. There was no thunder of warriors, no gleaming armor, only the low growls of lions and bears stalking the flock. Those threats were silent, unseen, unpraised. Yet it was there that David's faith was tested and refined. And do you know, Goliath was not the first enemy, nor the most frightening. The true enemy was complacency that could make David believe his own strength was enough. In the same way, what is quietly tightening around your spirit today is not meant to frighten you, but to remind you the most dangerous battle always takes place before you ever see a single giant. You still walk through your life from the outside. Everything seems fine, perhaps even peaceful, but I see the small cracks in your spiritual breath. Anxieties with no clear source, weariness without any specific reason, and a sense of unsteadiness that visits in the night. You think it is only a passing feeling, but in truth, it is a warning that an unseen battle is silently tightening from within, where no one sees, where you are most likely to loosen your guard. I do not say this to make you afraid, but so you will know, when you draw near to the promise I have placed over your life, the enemy always seeks to extinguish the light before it flares. Not every blow arrives as a fierce storm. Most slip in through your smallest habits, a little distraction, a little content you watch just for fun, a few words that leave your mind exhausted. All of it is, at first, insignificant, but over time carving deep into the soul. If you are not watchful, I see you pray less because you are busy, seek me less because you are tired, and then, without noticing, your spiritual armor grows thinner while you still believe you are strong. My child, the most dangerous thing is not a wide open door for the enemy, but a small crack you cannot be bothered to notice. Then one day you still smile at people, still fulfill your duties, still serve as usual, yet inside there is a strange emptiness. Not because you are weak, but because you are quietly running dry without realizing what you lack. The long sleepless nights, the tears you hide so carefully, the loneliness you feel even in a crowd, these are spiritual signals I want you to recognize. For if you keep walking on crumbs of faith, you will collapse right before I open the new season for you. I will not let you go to the edge. I warn you so you will return and lean on me before that weariness makes you let go. My child, there are days I see your soul trembling lightly, even when nothing outside seems intense. You keep going, keep working, keep saying you are fine, but I know a hollow space is slipping in between those ordinary breaths. The battle you think is outside is actually clinging deep within, where you pay the least attention. The small signs, unexplained fatigue, unease that comes and goes, a loss of rhythm in your spirit, are the bell I am ringing so you will realize you are under spiritual attack. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Mark 14:38. I am not saying this to make you anxious, but so you will know I am right there, seeing everything, reminding you not to dismiss what seems harmless inside your heart. Do you remember the story of Elisha and his servant that morning? The servant opened the door and saw the enemy surrounding the city. His heart shook, and his eyes could see only danger. But Elisha was different. He looked beyond what was visible, recognizing that the true battle was not the army outside, but the panic squeezing the servant's faith. When he prayed, I opened the servant's eyes to see countless angelic warriors standing ready on the mountain, mightier than any earthly threat. Do you see? Danger has never been only external. The most frightening thing is when your spirit sees only hostility and forgets that I am still covering you. The enemy always begins by persuading you that you are alone, and from there it tightens the battle within you. Beloved, I see clearly the moments you ask yourself, why am I so tired when nothing big has happened? Yet it is precisely when everything is calm that your spirit is most easily lulled to sleep. When you rely on familiar routines, you forget the soul must be kept awake each day, because the enemy does not wait for you to become weak before striking. It plants small arrows, misdirecting thoughts, nameless feelings you assume are fleeting. That is how it tightens its siege, not loudly, not violently, but through gradual seepage, until you do not notice your faith receding. I see you trying to appear strong, but I know there are silent spaces you have never dared to face, and it is there that the battle is quietly taking place. My child, I do not wait until you collapse before I come to rescue you. I am here, wanting you to return before small weariness becomes a deep chasm. Do not think you must be strong for me to be pleased. I want you to bring me even your fragile pieces, even the tangled thoughts you hesitate to admit. When you come back to me, even the battle within will turn, because I do not leave any soul to fight alone, and that refuge becomes true strength. Let me fight for you, because the inward battle is not a place you must win by yourself. I only need you to return, and I will take care of the rest. And do you know, though I always protect you, there are still small openings in everyday life that leave you more vulnerable than you think. It is not that the enemy is strong enough to break my wall of protection. It is the tiny cracks you accidentally leave unguarded. When your mind is pulled in 100 meaningless directions, when you allow foreign sounds to enter the space that should belong to me, your spiritual armor begins to thin day by day. I do not blame you. I only want you to understand that doors left not quite closed become entryways for what drains you. And when you grasp this, you will see why I call you to stay watchful in every moment. Because even very small steps are enough to bring your soul back into the safe light I have prepared. My child, there are things that seem harmless, yet are quietly wearing down your spiritual strength without you noticing. I see your mind swept daily into countless sounds, images, stories, many not evil, yet not nourishing to the soul. When your mind is filled with voices that do not come from me, you gradually struggle to recognize my gentle call. This is not a rebuke, but a reminder, so you understand why some evenings you feel tired without knowing why. Those little things become the first step toward openings that make you easier to strike than ever. You do not have to fall to be wounded. Sometimes, a single speck of dust in the eye is enough to blur your vision. Remember the boy Samuel in the temple. That night, my voice called again and again, but Samuel assumed it was Eli because he was not yet practiced in recognizing my voice. And because familiar sounds around him led him to confusion, I did not fault Samuel. I called patiently until he stopped, listened, and said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." Do you see? My voice never goes silent. It is only that your mind becomes too full to discern what is my voice and what is distraction. When you let trivial things pass through, they make no great noise, yet they occupy spaces that were meant for me. And this trained ear for the world has caused many of my children to lose the ability to recognize what I am warning them about. I know there are moments you let yourself drift into scattered thoughts, telling yourself just a little thinking won't hurt. But my child, the enemy never needs a wide open door. It only needs a small crack, and slowly it will tilt your heart a few degrees off course. A little insecurity, a little comparison, a little resentment. Together they accumulate. I do not want to see you lost in those undercurrents, because you were formed to walk in steadfastness, not in quiet exhaustion. I want you to realize what you feed in your mind today will become either strength or burden tomorrow. And if you are not watchful, the smallest things will become the cord that pulls you away from the peace I have for you, beloved. Do not wait until your soul is weary to return to me. If you will pause for a moment amid the familiar noise, if you will open again the door of prayer you have not stepped through for a long time, I will meet you right there. I am not seeking long, elaborate prayers. I want your heart open, even if only for a single breath. When you lay down empty entertainments, unhelpful stories, thoughts that weigh your mind down, you will see light return to fill the spaces you thought were ruined. I desire nothing more than to enter your mind before all else, so I can shield you from attacks you cannot see with ordinary eyes. For you belong to me, and I will not allow anything to steal your soul while you are unaware. There will come a time when you realize that spiritual neglect never crashes in all at once in a single moment. It slips in through the choices you once considered small. One day you skip prayer, one day you hesitate to open the Bible. One evening you let worries drown out a conversation with me. None of it strikes, yet it seeps in. I look at you, and I want you not to accuse yourself, because noticing is the first step toward regaining watchfulness. All you need is to gather your mind again, gently close the doors you unknowingly opened before, and let me remind you of the path back to safety. You were not formed to live in fragility. You were created to stand firm in the light, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. And when you understand this, you will enter a deeper part of the battle, learning how to guard your soul against the quiet things that drain you. My child, there are kinds of emptiness that make no noise, yet spread. I see you still smiling at people, still working hard, still serving responsibly. Yet the light within you has dimmed, not because you no longer love me, but because you are living on scattered fragments of faith. You read a few verses just to get through the day, pray hurriedly before sleep, and then tell yourself, that's enough. But beloved, a soul cannot thrive on crumbs. It needs breath from me. It needs fullness. It needs living water flowing continually. Otherwise, exhaustion will come to you very quietly. The most dangerous thing is not the storm, but depletion that happens little by little. There are nights when you lie still in the dark, eyes open yet unable to sleep, your heart heavy without knowing why. I see it all, the tears you try to swallow, the sighs you don't dare confess to anyone. Your soul is searching for somewhere to lean, yet it doesn't know that I am very near, only waiting for you to turn back. I came not in a great wind, not in an earthquake, not in blazing fire. I came in a gentle whisper, so he would know I had not abandoned him, even when his strength was gone. It is the same with you. I do not wait for you to be strong before I draw near. I come closest when you are weakest, to remind you that the weariness inside is not the end, but an invitation to return to true peace. I understand the moments when you blame yourself for not having the same passion as before, when you worship, but your emotions no longer overflow, when you pray, yet your heart still feels dry. You think you have failed, but in truth, this is the natural result of being away from the source of life for too long. A branch separated from the tree does not wither immediately. It stays green for a few days before it dries out. In the same way, you can keep up spiritual activity for a while. But when the flow from me no longer nourishes you, your soul will gradually become exhausted. I do not condemn you. I only want you to realize that your life does not come from striving, but from connection. And the moment you return, that lifeline will surge again, restoring even the places you thought had already died. There are people who stand in the middle of a crowd and still feel alone. You have been there too, not because you are unloved, but because your spirit is running dry and you don't know how to name it. The feeling that no one understands me, or I'm invisible in all of this, is not just emotion. It is a sign that your soul needs to be touched. I want you to know that this loneliness is not meant to torment you, but to draw you closer to me, because only in my presence will you stop fearing the emptiness within. Remember David before he became a mighty king. He had nights full of tears in caves, surrounded by isolation and pursuit. Yet in the place that seemed darkest, he wrote words full of hope because he knew I would not leave him in the night. So it is with you. The darkness will not break you if you let me be there with you. There will come a moment when you realize that this quiet exhaustion is what causes many people to let go right before I act most powerfully in their lives. Not because they are weak, but because they do not know they are running empty. I do not want you to step into a new season. I want you restored before you enter what I have prepared. And when you begin to sense again the tenderness of your soul, when you understand that emptiness is not punishment, but a gentle warning, you will find a very natural step leading you into the decisiveness I have been waiting for, letting go of what wears you down, so you can lean on me and recover real strength. There you will see a door opening into wholeness, softly, unhurried. My child, many times you brace yourself just to appear as though you are fine, but I see the trembling hidden beneath that calm. You think trusting me means you must always be strong, always stand tall, never let anyone see your weakness. But beloved, faith is not a mask to hide the cracks. It is the arm you lift when you no longer have strength to stand on your own. I have never demanded that you become strong first and only then come to me. Even the greatest warriors in Scripture have fallen. And it was precisely when they admitted their helplessness that I lifted them higher than ever. I do not want you to strain yourself anymore. I want you to release so I can hold you. Do you remember when Israel fought Amalek? Moses stood on the hill. When his hands were raised, the people prevailed. When his hands grew tired and lowered, they weakened. But do you see? Victory did not come from Moses' strength. It came from his willingness to let others support his hands when he was weary. I placed Aaron and Hur beside him, not because he was inferior, but because I wanted him to know this battle was never meant to demand that one person carry it alone. And so it is with you. I did not create you to fight by yourself. When you resist in your own strength, you will grow tired. When you surrender to me, you will be upheld by a strength that never runs dry. I see the days you read my word, but your mind is elsewhere. The moments you pray and the words drift away while your heart sits heavy. You think you have failed. But my child, that is not failure. It is a reminder that prayer, worship, and the Word of God are not tasks. They are where you survive, the source of fresh breath for your soul. When you let small things drain your faith, you will feel dry. But if you simply turn back to the things that seem familiar, you will find them more alive than you expected. For they are not rituals, but weapons, not habits, but refuge, not a schedule, but the way I cast my shadow over your soul to shield you from invisible blows. There are things you must decisively step away from, not because I want to take from you, but because they are leaking your spiritual flow. Conversations that leave your heart heavy, relationships not led by me, habits that erode your peace. These are letting living water drain out continually while you wonder why you remain exhausted. I love you too much to watch you cling to what is making you weaker. If you set it down, I will fill that empty space with something better, something healthier, something that belongs to me. I will never ask you to surrender without restoration. What I have for you is always greater than what I invite you to leave. Do you know what moves my heart the most? When you choose to surrender to me, even with a trembling breath, I answer with an entire sky of protection. I have sent angels to guard you. I have raised a wall of fire around your life. I have shut doors the enemy tried to slip through, but there is one door I will never force, the door of your heart. When you open that door, when you say, I am weak, Lord, fight for me, that is the moment my power is displayed most clearly. You do not need to shout. A quiet call is enough, and I am already there. And when you let me fight for you, you will see that the battles that once terrified you are small in my hands. And one day, when you stand steadier, gentler, restored from within, you will realize that surrender does not make you weaker. It makes you strong in a way the world cannot understand. You will see more clearly the subtle movements of spiritual warfare, the gaps that need to be covered, the souls going through what you once endured. And in this new watchfulness, you will naturally step into a role I prepared long ago, not only one who is protected, but one who brings support to the weary. No need for grand declarations. No need for explanations. The quiet transformation in you will become an invitation to exhausted souls to return to the safety you found in me. My child, when your soul is restored and stands firm again, I see in you not only new life, but a light strong enough to guide those around you who are lost. You may think your former weakness was merely private wounds, yet I use the very places where you once fell as a support for those who are slipping. This battle has never been only about you. Every step you take, every word you speak, every breath upheld by me can become covering for someone else. I healed you so you could become cool water in the desert, quiet, yet enough to revive the thirsty. And when you see someone weary the way you once were, you will understand how I lifted you up, and you will know how to lead them to me, gently yet surely. Do you remember Joseph's story, my child, the young man sold by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, his life seeming ruined? Yet it was those very pains that became the foundation on which I set Joseph in a place where he could save an entire people. When his brothers came in the midst of famine, Joseph did not pour out vengeance. He looked at them and said that I had used his wounded years to preserve life for others. Do you see? Suffering did not crush him. It formed him into an instrument of deliverance, and so it will be with you. The places where you once wept, I will turn into places where you speak strength to parched souls, not with lofty philosophy, but with wounds I have healed. I want you to know that your words carry a spiritual weight you have not expected. When you complain, weariness spreads. But when you speak faith, even a single small sentence can shift the atmosphere around you. You did not realize that every word you speak sows a kind of seed, either lifting people up or making their hearts heavy. Now that I have been reshaping you from within, I want you to become one who sows hope into others. An intercessory prayer, a word of encouragement, a hand gently resting on someone's shoulder. Sometimes, these are what push back an entire stronghold of despair inside them. Your transformation is not only seen with the eyes, but felt in the peace that flows from the very words you speak. My beloved, I have placed weary souls around you, not so you must carry them in your own strength, but so you may become a trumpet that awakens, and a bridge that leads them back to me. Not in some grand way, but through daily faithfulness. When you pray for your loved ones, for your family, for those you cherish, you are not merely speaking with me. You are raising a spiritual wall around them. When you warn gently, when you stand faithfully, you are sowing deliverance, and you yourself are guarded through it. I do not only want you to survive, I want you to become a vessel that carries life. And then, as you keep walking, you will realize that everything I have been doing in your life, from silent battles to restoration to the steps of returning, does not end with you merely being safe. It leads you into a deeper position, the position of one who is called, one who bears light, one who knows how to stand in the fight, not only for oneself, but for those I have entrusted to you. No loud trumpet, no reputation is needed. Only a heart that stays soft before me and wide open to others. When you live this way, you become part of my stream of salvation, quiet yet full of power. And you will see, each day you open your mouth to intercede, each time you stretch out your hands to lift another, I will stand behind you, completing what you cannot, so that everything blooms according to my will. My child, let me speak to you more deeply, more clearly. You are the portion of inheritance I have chosen, the place upon which I have set my name, the instrument I guard with holy jealousy. There is no movement in your life that escapes my gaze, for you are where I dwell, a living temple into which I have breathed my breath. So each time pressure surrounds you, each harsh word is aimed at you, each tangled crossroads confuses you, none of it is accidental. They are arrows the enemy deliberately shoots to unsettle you, to make your soul spin after what is seen instead of lifting your eyes to where I wait. He does not want you to look up because he knows that the moment you look to me, the moment you call my name, everything he has built will collapse. But today I draw your gaze away from the storms before you and turn it higher, deeper, truer, to the place where your help has never been late. I am the one who stood in the furnace with the 3 young men, the one who shut the lions' mouths before Daniel, the one who made the walls of Jericho tremble beneath the footsteps of faith, the one who broke Paul's chains in the darkness of prison, the one before whom every battle surrenders before it can even take shape. Yet for you to step into the current of that strength, you must return to me. Rearrange your heart, realign your spirit, so it does not drift from the truth I have placed within you. You have passed through many seasons, lived through many experiences, and I know there were moments when you opened your heart to too many things that were not of me. You looked at what did not strengthen your soul. You listened to voices mixed with the noise of the world and mistook them for wisdom. You held on to small but persistent thoughts, quiet yet toxic emotions, doubts that seemed harmless but slowly ate away, layer by layer, at your spiritual armor. You thought you were only watching a little, listening for fun, thinking just a bit. But the enemy knows how to sow. He does not need a storm, he only needs a seed. A little doubt to make you hesitate, a little bitterness to pull you away from peace, a little distraction to make you neglect prayer, a small sin you think you can control. Then little by little, those things weave into a cord around your soul, drawing you away from the source of life without you even realizing how far you have gone. He never charges in with a loud roar. He prefers to whisper. He does not break down the door. He only quietly lifts the latch. He does not knock you down at once. He slows you step by step, throws your breath off rhythm little by little, until the day you realize you are standing farther from me than you ever thought. And because you are far from me, you become vulnerable to things that should never have been able to shake you. I see it not to accuse you, but to stir you, to awaken spiritual eyes dimmed by the dust of weary days. I touch your ears so my calling becomes clear, so you can discern what is my voice and what is not of me. I want your heart to be soft and alert, not to fear, but to recognize your worth and the protection I built around you before anything began. You are the temple of my spirit, a holy place that must not become a playground for distorted voices. You are one I have placed in the battle not to collapse, but to stand firm. I am jealous for you, not out of selfishness, but because I know nothing besides me can keep your soul whole. When you let worthless things slip into your mind, you are opening the door with your own hands for the enemy to sneak in, and I will not stand by while he steals the strength, the purity, and the peace I have placed within you. So I speak to you with the voice of a loving but resolute father. It is time for you to be decisive. You must loosen the invisible bindings. You must tear down destructive thoughts. You must sweep out the noise that has crept into your mind. You must turn off what is pulling you away from me little by little. But do not be afraid. When I call you to remove something, I have already prepared something better for you. When I ask you to let go of a toxic voice, I open to you my life-giving word. When I tell you to lay aside a habit that wears your soul thin, I pour into you a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. You do not have to do it by your own strength. I never command and then stand back to watch. I walk with you. I restore each room in your mind. I light every dark corner in your soul. I drive back the words that have wounded your heart. I wash away what has clung for so long, leaving you tired without knowing why. You only need to open your heart for me to work, and the rest I will handle with a gentleness only I possess. And when you begin to cleanse your heart, when you begin to close your eyes to the world's noise and open spiritual eyes to look to me, you will see what once felt far away. Peace. Not peace because everything goes smoothly, but peace in the middle of upheaval. Not peace because there is no enemy, but peace because I show you he cannot touch you when you rest yourself in me. When your heart returns to its rightful place, where I am the center, everything around you will also return to its proper order. What once sent you into panic will become small. What once made you uneasy will become meaningless. What once tried to crush you will become a stepping stone that lifts you higher. Let me rekindle your spiritual eyes, so you do not look at the world through fear, but through the awareness that I go before you in every battle. Let your ears not hear through anxiety, but through clear discernment between my voice and deception. Let your mind not be swallowed by useless whirlpools, but be guided by wisdom from heaven. And as you walk this path, you will not only be kept, you will become an instrument to protect many others. The light within you will illuminate their way. Your words will sow hope. The wounds you once carried, but that I have healed, will become proof that I truly am with you. Child of mine, rise from the dark corners where you have been sitting for too long. Do not let the whispers of doubt drag you back to the place I already rescued you from. Do not allow the harsh words of people to define your value. Do not let roots of bitterness sink deep, for they will bind your soul. Let me cut them away with my gentle hands. You are mine, and I will not allow any darkness to claim ownership over you. Step into the light I have laid out before you. Stand in the truth I speak over you. Let me restore what is cracked, gather what is scattered, and breathe into the parts you thought had died. Today is the day I shake your soul so you will realize you were never meant to fight alone. It is the day I call you back to wakefulness, so you no longer fall into the trap of things so small yet strong enough to drain you. It is the day I lift your eyes higher so you can see I am still governing all things, even when your life sometimes looks uncertain. It is the day I remind you that my jealousy over you is not a burden, but a shield of protection. It is the day I declare you belong to me, and no enemy can change that. Do you remember Joseph's story? The young man sold by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison. His life seemed shattered. Yet it was those very pains that became the foundation on which I placed Joseph in a position to rescue an entire nation. When his brothers came in the midst of famine, Joseph did not pour out vengeance. He looked at them and said that I had used his wounded years to preserve life for others. Do you see? Suffering did not crush him. It made him a vessel of deliverance, and so it will be with you. The places where you once wept, I will turn into places where you speak words that uphold weary souls. Not with lofty philosophy, but with wounds I have healed. I want you to know that your words carry a spiritual weight you have never suspected. When you complain, weariness spreads. But when you speak faith, even a single small sentence can shift the atmosphere around you. You did not realize that every word you speak sows a kind of seed, either lifting people up or weighing their hearts down. Now that I have been reshaping you from within, I want you to become one who sows hope into others. A prayer of intercession, a word of encouragement, a gentle hand laid on someone's shoulder. Sometimes that is what pushes back an entire stronghold of despair inside them. Your transformation will not only be seen with the eyes, but felt in the peace that flows from the very words you speak. My beloved, I have placed weary souls around you, not for you to carry their burdens in their place, but for you to become a trumpet that awakens and a bridge that leads them back to me, not in grand ways, but through daily faithfulness. When you pray for loved ones, for your family, for those you cherish, you are not merely speaking with me, you are raising a spiritual wall around them. When you warn gently, when you intercede, you are sowing deliverance, and you yourself are protected through it as well. I do not only want you to survive, I want you to become an instrument that brings life. And as you keep walking, you will realize that everything I do in your life, from silent battles to restoration to your steps of returning, does not end with you being safe. It leads you into a deeper place, the place of one who is called, one who carries light, one who knows how to stand in the battle, not only for self, but for those I have entrusted to you. No loud trumpet, no fame, only a heart soft before me and wide for others. When you live this way, you become part of my current of salvation, quiet yet full of power. And you will see each day you open your mouth to intercede. Each time you extend your hands to uphold someone, I will stand behind you, completing what you cannot complete, so that everything will blossom according to my will. My child, let me speak to you more deeply, more clearly, as a father who takes hold of your shoulders and looks straight into your soul to remind you, you are not insignificant in this vast world. You are the inheritance I have chosen, the one upon whom I have set my name, the vessel I guard with holy jealousy. There is no movement in your life that escapes my gaze, because you are where I dwell, a living temple into which I have breathed my breath. So when pressure closes in, when harsh words are aimed at you, when tangled crossroads leave you confused, none of it is accidental. They are arrows the enemy deliberately shoots to throw you off balance, to make your soul spin around what is seen instead of lifting its eyes to where I am waiting. He does not want you to look up, because he knows that the moment you look to me, the moment you cry out to me, everything he has built will collapse. But today I draw your gaze away from the storms before you and set it higher, deeper, truer, where your help has never once been late. I am the one who stood in the furnace with the 3 young men, the one who shut the lions' mouths before Daniel, the one who made the walls of Jericho tremble under the footsteps of faith, the one who broke Paul's chains in the darkness of a prison night, the one before whom every battle surrenders before it can even fully form. Yet for you to step into that flow of strength, you must return to me. Reorder your heart, realign your spirit, so it does not drift from the truth I have placed within you. You have passed through many seasons, many experiences, and I know there were times you opened your heart to too many things that did not belong to me. You looked at what did not strengthen your soul. You listened to voices mixed with the world's noise and mistook them for wisdom. You held on to small but stubborn thoughts, quiet yet toxic feelings, doubts that seemed harmless but slowly ate away at each layer of your spiritual armor. You thought you were only watching a little, listening for fun, thinking just a bit. But the enemy understands how to sow. He does not need a storm. He only needs a seed. A little doubt to make you hesitate. A little bitterness to draw you out of peace. A little distraction to loosen your prayer. A small sin you believe you can control. Then, little by little, those things weave into a cord around your soul, pulling you away from the source of life without you even realizing how far you have drifted. He never charges in with a loud roar. He prefers to whisper. He does not break down the door. He only lifts the latch. He does not strike you down at once. He slows you step by step, delays your rhythm breath by breath, until one day you realize you have been standing farther from me than you thought. And because you are far from me, you become vulnerable to things that should never have been able to shake you. I say this not to condemn you, but to stir you, to awaken the spiritual eyes that have grown dim under the dust of weary days. I touch your ears so my calling becomes clear again, so you recognize which voice is mine and which does not belong to me. I want your heart to be tender and alert, not so you live in fear, but so you recognize your own worth and the protection I built around you before anything began. You are the temple of my spirit, a sacred place that must not become a playground for deceptive voices. You are one I have placed in the battle not to collapse, but to stand. I am jealous for you, not out of selfishness, but because I know nothing else but me can keep your soul whole. When you let worthless things slip into your mind, you are opening the door with your own hands for the enemy to creep in. And I will not stand by while he steals the strength, purity, and peace I have placed within you. Therefore, I speak to you with the voice of a loving yet resolute father. It is time for you to be decisive. Tear off the invisible bindings, smash the destructive thoughts, sweep out the noise that slips into your mind, turn off the things that are pulling you away from me little by little. But do not be afraid. When I call you to remove something, I have already prepared something better for you. When I ask you to release a toxic voice, I open to you my words full of life. When I tell you to lay down a habit that drains your soul, I pour into you a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. You are not meant to do this in your own strength. I never command and then stand back to watch. I walk with you. I restore every room in your mind. I light up every dark corner in your soul. I push back the words that have wounded your heart. I wash away what has clung for a long time and made you tired without knowing why. You only need to open your heart for me to do it, and I will take care of the rest with a tenderness that only I possess. And when you begin to cleanse your heart, when you begin to close your eyes to the noise of life and open your spiritual eyes to look at me, you will see what once felt out of reach: peace. Not peace because everything goes smoothly, but peace in the midst of upheaval. Not peace because there is no enemy, but peace because I show you he cannot touch you when you hide yourself in me. When your heart returns to its right place, where I am the center, everything around you will also return to its proper order. What once panicked, you will become small. What once unsettled, you will become meaningless. What once tried to knock you down will become the stepping stone that lifts you higher. Let me relight your spiritual eyes, so you do not look at the world through fear, but through the certainty that I go before you in every battle. Let your ears not listen through anxiety, but through clear discernment between my voice and deception. Let your mind not be drowned in useless spirals, but guided by the wisdom that comes from heaven. And as you walk this path, you will not only be kept, you will become an instrument to protect many others. The light in you will brighten their way. Your words will sow hope. The wounds you once bore, but that I have healed, will become evidence that I truly am with you. My child, rise from the dark corners where you have sat for too long. Do not let the whispers of doubt pull you back to the place I rescued you from. Do not allow the harsh words of people to define your worth. Do not let bitter roots grow deep, for they will bind your soul. Let me cut them away with my gentle hands. You are mine, and I will not allow any darkness to claim ownership over you. Step into the light I have spread before you. Stand in the truth I speak over you. Let me restore what is cracked, gather what is scattered, and breathe life into the parts you thought had died. Today is the day I stir your soul so you will recognize you were never meant to fight alone. Today is the day I call you back to wakefulness, so you no longer fall into traps that are very small yet enough to exhaust you. Today is the day I lift your eyes higher so you can see I am still governing all things, even when your life sometimes looks chaotic. Today is the day I remind you that my jealousy for you is not a burden, but a shield of protection. Today I say you belong to me, and no enemy can change that. When you open your mouth to speak about what I have done in your life, it is not merely sharing, you are opening a spiritual doorway. When you send a message, when you let a verse of scripture touch someone in despair, when you tell someone they still have hope, heaven does not remain still. You sow the word, I act. You only need to sound a brief trumpet of awakening, and I will stir the power from on high to shield the one you are lifting up. You cannot see it with natural eyes, but every time you knock on someone's door through prayer, I assign angels to stand watch at the door of your home. When you whisper, Amen, heaven's response is never a whisper. It comes dissolving unseen attacks. It comes reviving the places that seem dead inside the one you are interceding for. You may not realize it, but the spiritual realm trembles when you step into the position I have entrusted to you. You must understand that your life carries value far beyond what you imagine. Every moment you walk with me is never wasted. No time of yours is stolen when you place it in my hands. No future is shattered when I am the keeper. No dream of yours is buried when I am the one who breathes life into what seems decayed. I know there were times you worried your youth was passing in vain, that the years you served went unseen, that the tears you shed at night were misunderstood, that your efforts would disappear in the stream of life. But I see it all. I record it all. I protect every piece of your life you thought had been taken from you. No one can touch what I have appointed for you, and if the enemy has ever tried, it will learn that it only causes me to rise even more powerfully to defend you. Even your health, I cover. The fatigue, the unexplainable aches, the anxieties that weigh your heart down, they will not destroy you if you place them into my hands. I do not want you living in fear that your body will not be enough to enter the new season. I upheld you when you were weak. I will replenish you when you are weary, and I will restore the places you thought had lost strength. I do not only heal wounds, I renew the very source of strength. Remember this, What belongs to me, the enemy cannot destroy, and you belong to me. And do you know what? In all things, the enemy never has the final word. Even if it tries to sow doubt, even if it wears you down, even if it breathes lies into you, it cannot end the story I am writing over your life. The final word always belongs to me, the one who called you before you entered your mother's womb, the one who guarded you when you thought you were alone, the one who made a way even when there was no path ahead of you. My word to you today is not temporary comfort. It is a spiritual decree with power to reshape your future life. Rise up, shine, for my light has touched you, and my glory is breaking over your life. You are not only saved, you are sent. Not only supported, you are empowered. Not only protected, you are called to lead others into the light. And when you walk with that awareness, when you understand the life I give you is not merely to help you survive, but to overflow through you, you will see that every step you take has purpose. You will see light spilling from your words, from simple acts, from quiet intercession. You will see change in your family, in those you love, in those who once seemed beyond return. You will become a stream that never stops flowing, healing cracked and barren ground. You will become a bell in the night, awakening souls that have fallen asleep. You will become a lamp set on a hill, not to perform, but to guide. And I, as your Father, will stand with you in every step, every word, every breath. Take heart, for this battle does not end in darkness, it ends in glory. And you are part of that glorious plan. You only need to keep standing, keep believing, keep shining, and I will do the rest. My child, let me speak to you with all the longing in my heart, because the road you have just walked through, unseen battles, through spiritually worn down days, to the moment you began to recognize my hand lifting you up, does not end there. A new journey is opening, a depth you have never stepped into before. And now I want you to know this call is not only to comfort you, but to awaken you, to empower you, to ignite within you a mission I set in place before you ever existed. Now that your soul has learned the difference between darkness and light, has tasted both dryness and restoration, you have become the most fertile ground for me to plant a spiritual calling greater than your own life. Not because you are better than others, not because you are stronger, but because you have allowed me to touch the deepest places, the most painful points. And that tender-heartedness makes you someone who can uphold others with living truth that many still fear to face. Do you know what I treasure most in you? It is your willingness, even if only a little, for me to use your wounds as a lamp to light the way for souls stumbling in the dark, those walking through what you have just escaped. I want you to understand that every pain you have endured does not vanish in vain. I keep it. There are people around you who are exhausted, who can barely breathe, who are losing strength in battles no one sees. They carry forced smiles. They hide confusion behind busy work. They live in a state of just a little longer, though their spirit has wanted to collapse for a long time. The day will come when I bring them near you, because you have walked through what they are walking through, and only one who has reached the bottom knows how to take another's hand without hurting them further. I will use the healing in you. I will use the new strength I have placed within you to shatter the lies that are drowning them. You will not teach them with theory. You will lift them with living proof, with breath, with story, with the gentleness I taught you when you were at your weakest. Beloved, I have placed upon your mouth the power of declaration. Not power for display, but power to break the whispers of despair that surround others. A word you speak when you stand in me can drive back an entire dark cloud pressing down on a soul. A prayer of intercession from you, even as small as a candle, is enough to make darkness hesitate. You cannot see it with your eyes, but I see every spiritual movement that happens each time you speak. When you release encouragement, heaven takes note. When you pray for someone, my angels are dispatched at once according to that word. You are the outstretched arm of a kingdom that cannot be measured by feelings. I am entrusting you with what only those who have been broken and then renewed by me carry, with enough humility and mercy to deliver rightly. You will become a trumpet of awakening, not through shouting, but through peace. You will become a bridge of rescue, not by your own strength, but by my presence flowing through you. Your loved ones, your family, those you cherish, they too are standing in a battlefield they do not know how to name. Every prayer you pray for them is not lost. It stands. You do not have to say much to them. You do not have to convince anyone to understand you. Simply stand firm, stand in the place I have set you, and I will let the light in you do what words cannot. There are battles where it only takes one person in a family surrendering to me for me to open a way for the whole household. There are words I am preparing to speak to them, but I will speak through you, through your gentle voice, through your small actions, through your kindness when they are fragile. You are not only saved, you are being entrusted. I want you to recognize that where you go will no longer be random. I will lead you into conversations you think are merely coincidental, but are truly assignments. I will let you hear the sighs no one hears so you can sense the spiritual pain behind them and know how to intercede. I will illuminate you to discern the hidden attacks striking others, and I will use you as a shield so they do not fall before they know how to return. You will notice what others overlook, a tired glance, a careless remark, a small behavior that is actually a cry for help. You will see because I have opened your spiritual eyes. You will feel because I have touched your heart. And when you speak, you will not speak with your own wisdom, but with my whisper flowing through your soul. Then you will find yourself growing into this calling without ever noticing the moment it began, yet one day rising with strength. Your words will change, your actions will deepen, your patience will widen, your mercy will thicken, not because you force yourself to become better, but because I am doing the inner work in you. Little by little, beyond what you perceive, you will become a refuge for souls knocked down by the winds of life. You will become a voice that turns them toward the light. You will become a gentle reminder that they still have worth, they are still loved, there is still a way out. I will use you as part of a rescue plan heaven prepared long ago, and you will no longer live only for yourself. You will live with purpose, with weight, with a spiritual imprint no one can extinguish. My child, if deep within you, you sense that each of these words is going straight from me to your heart, then respond with a small but deeply spiritual act. Press, Lord, I hear you, and I agree with what you are doing in my life. Leave your name in the comments, not so that I may count people, but so that I may see each name fully. I am looking at every face. I am laying my hand upon every heart. I am setting apart those whom I have chosen to enter a new season, a season of rescue, healing, and the unveiling of power no longer hidden. And my child, as though you were signing a covenant with me, I want to walk with you. I want to hear your voice every day. I do not want to lose the wakefulness you have just rekindled in me. This is not entertainment. This is a spiritual doorway, a place I use to speak, to correct, to uphold, and to guide those who truly seek me. Now be still for a moment. Do not rush to do anything else. Place your hand over your heart and feel the gentlest stirring. This is not imagination. It is me confirming to your soul that everything has been activated. Heaven's covering is resting upon you. The unseen battles that have disturbed you are being cut off. Your spirit has just been awakened one layer deeper, and from this moment on, your life will not return to what it was before. Not because everything outside changes instantly, but because you have changed. And when your heart changes, the journey ahead will be rewritten by me with light, with safety, with strength you never knew you carried. You have been awakened. You have been set apart, and I will lead you. Keep walking. I am here. You are not alone. My child, I see you walking through long, crowded days, while your soul seems to shrink back little by little, silent. Not because it is at peace, but because it is weary. I see clearly that the song of praise that once burned brightly within you now remains only a faint echo. Not because you no longer love me, but because the flame in your heart is flickering in the chaotic winds of life. I see you begin each new day with hurried feet, your mind filled with work and responsibility, until the simple gratitude that once warmed you has been pushed to the very bottom of the list of things for later. You are present in so many conversations, so many meetings, so many plans. Yet you are slowly absent from the deepest space of your own being, the place where I have always waited for you to return. And that absence is what concerns me most, because when your soul drifts far from the source of life, it does not wither at once. It quietly weakens. Beloved, I know you did not mean to move away from me. This distance was not created in a day, a week, or a month. It was formed in the moments you were tired and did not pray, busy and did not worship, rushed and did not speak with me. When you said, "Tomorrow I'll pray more deeply," or "I'm too busy today, I'll read your word later," and those later moments piled up, becoming a quiet distance, enough for your soul to cool down without you noticing. You thought you were fine because work still moved. Responsibilities were still carried. Actions were still steady. But I know that fine has only been a cloak over a body that is exhausted. The danger is not that you are weak, because I can lift you up, but that you do not realize you are weak and keep walking unaware into a battlefield without carrying your weapons. Spiritual warfare does not wait for you to be ready. It only waits for a crack in your soul to slip through. But my precious one, I did not call you today to place any additional burden upon you. I do not come as a judge, taking record of your failures. I come as a father who sees his child scraped and bruised and bends down to bandage the wounds. You have lost your rhythm, but you have never been removed from the map of my love for you. You have not lost your place in my heart, and you have never lost your right to begin again. I do not keep score of your perfection. I take notice of every time you turn back, even if you return with trembling feet or a heart still full of turmoil. For I am the one who makes new what you thought was old, who brings to life what you believed had gone out, who raises up what you assumed was no more. You must understand that even when your soul is weak, I do not see that as failure. I see it as a call for me to draw nearer to you. Your weakness does not push me away. Your weakness makes me open my arms wider. A father does not scold when the child falls. He bends down, lifts the child up, brushes off the dust, and steadies the steps for a little farther. I am doing that for you. I do not expect you to stand strong at all times. What I long for is that you know how to run to me whenever your feet begin to falter. For if you do not return, you will keep pressing forward by your own strength, and your own strength is never enough to withstand the unseen blows you cannot even see. Remember this: restoration does not begin with appearance, with feelings, or with achievements. It begins when you stop, when you slow down, when you look within, when you admit that you are tired. Then I can begin to heal the deepest places of your soul. I never wanted you to live without rest. I created day and night, rainy seasons and sunny seasons, to remind you that even nature does not hold strength endlessly without passing through rest. So why do you think you must do everything alone, never allowed to stop, never allowed to be weak? I gave you breath, and I also gave you the right to rest in my arms. No matter where you are, no matter how far you feel you have drifted from me, you can begin again in this very moment. You do not need to wait until your heart is burning again before you come to me. All you need is a whisper: Father, I'm coming back, and I will immediately move toward you. I have never loved you less. Even when you prayed less, I have never forgotten your voice. Even when you forgot to call my name, you can realign your path, and I will walk beside you as in the beginning. You keep thinking that to return to me, you need powerful emotions. But beloved, sometimes returning does not come with overflowing feelings. It comes with a slow step, a deep breath, a gentle but honest decision. I do not rebuild you in haste. I heal you with patience. My love does not change with your emotions. It remains there. The spiritual battle around you is still there. But when you step back under the shadow of my wings, you will not have to fight alone. You will have a peace the world cannot understand, a strength that does not come from striving but from connection, and the discernment to recognize what is my voice and what is leading you astray. You will see that what once exhausted you no longer has the power to weigh you down, and what once frightened you no longer makes you tremble. For when you are in me, no attack can reach your soul without my knowing. You have never gone too far to return. You have never fallen too deep for me to pull you up. You have never been lost too long for me to find you. The only moment I am waiting for is the moment you open your heart, so I can rekindle the flame you thought had died and set you back on your feet in the storm. And then, when you feel life returning, when your breathing grows lighter, when your heart warms again, when your steps no longer feel as heavy as before, you will understand that I never called you to accuse you. I called you because I want to see you strong in my love, steady in the face of the unseen battle unfolding every day. You still have the right to begin again, the right to rise, the right to step into the new season I have prepared for you with both faith and clarity. For you are my child, and that will never change. No matter how many headwinds your soul must pass through, my child, before I speak what comes next, I want you to take a deep breath, because these words are not to condemn you, but to touch the deepest place you have not dared to face. I ask you not to corner you, but to pull you out of the spiral of exhaustion you have endured for far too long. How much longer will you keep trying to manage on your own? How much longer will you fight in silence, bracing yourself against the growing waves of emotion within, without giving me even a small space to step in? How much longer will you live as though you must carry the entire spiritual battle on your frail shoulders? A battle that even the mighty who went before could not win without leaning on me. Do you know that every time you choose to endure alone, you are stepping away from the source of strength that was prepared for you before you took your very first breath? Every sleepless night, every tear you swallowed, every looping thought that makes your heart feel heavy as stone, all of it is a sign I have been sending to remind you that your own strength is not enough, that you are reaching your limit, and that I want to carry you through the stretch of road you can no longer walk by yourself. You still think I am far away, but in truth, I am so near that even your faintest whisper can stir heaven. When your soul fractures, I do not stand and watch. I bend down, placing my hand upon every wound you have tried to hide from the world. I am not afraid of the shadowed corners you fear to face, the rooms within your spirit you have kept locked for years, terrified that if you open them, even you would not endure the truth. But I do not fear the dark. I am the light, and light always enters wherever it is invited. You quietly conceal your pain from others because you fear they will not understand, fear they will belittle you. Yet I know every trembling beat of your heart, every unseen scratch upon your spirit that no words can describe. I see where the enemy has set traps for you. I see the small openings it has made in your emotions, the depths it exploits when you fall into silence. I know exactly how it strikes through the memories you try to forget, the careless words someone once left behind, and the nameless fears you thought you had already mastered. It does not attack with a storm all at once. It chooses instead to slip in on the nights you are tired, in moments when you let your guard down, when your mind drifts with no anchor. It watches how you respond each time you are disappointed, each time you are wounded, each time your heart grows weak. It knows what makes you sway, what steals your joy, what causes you to doubt yourself. But what it could never foresee is that today, I step into that inner sanctuary with liberating power, not with a majestic roar, but with a presence strong enough to shake the fortresses that have bound you for so long. I do not come only to comfort. I come to break the invisible bonds you have unknowingly made in moments of vulnerability. The words you spoke in despair, the thoughts you nurtured in secret, the feelings you claimed as your own, though they were never yours, these have become cords, arrows driven deep into your soul, throwing you into turmoil. The enemy wants you to believe that this is your nature. But no, none of it ever belonged to you. They were burdens forced into your heart through the years you wandered far from me. But now, as you listen to my voice, those burdens are falling away. In the realm of the Spirit, heaven is stirring. Angels are being sent forth, carrying the peace you have lacked for so long. The breath of my Holy Spirit is moving through where you live, through your mind, through the unrest you have never been able to set in order. A cleansing is taking place. A renewal is beginning to form. A preparation is at work that your eyes cannot see, yet your soul can feel with unmistakable clarity. Let me make this unmistakably clear. You are not alone, and you are not abandoned in this battle. What is happening within your spirit right now is not chaos. It is rebuilding. When I come, I do not merely patch what is torn. I restore the very foundation you lost in seasons when you were too weary to keep yourself. You are being awakened from a numbness you never realized was pressing upon you. You are seeing where the true battle lies, not in outward upheavals, but in the hidden exhaustion within. You have stepped into your true place, the place of one who knows they need support. But beloved, I need you to stand firm. I need you not to return to the old habits that once made you vulnerable. I need you not to reopen the doors I have closed for you. I need you to boldly say enough to the things that have quietly drained your soul without you even realizing it. There is still one more thing I want you to understand deeply. When my light pours in, darkness does not only flee, it screams, it resists, it tries to cling to the places it once occupied. You will see old thoughts trying to return. You will feel resistance rising in your emotions. You will notice fears attempting one final ascent. Do not be afraid. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that the chains are breaking. You have entered a passage of transfer where what is not mine is being driven out of your life, and what is mine is taking shape within you. I am gathering the scattered fragments of your soul and forging them into a new whole, stronger, lighter, brighter than before. Do not think that the steadfastness I ask of you is beyond you. Steadfastness in my eyes is not never trembling. It is trembling and still choosing to cling to me. Steadfastness is not never being weak. It is being weak and still praying, Lord, hold me. Steadfastness is not never wavering. It is wavering yet falling toward me rather than into the old darkness. And as you stand firm in this way, you will realize that my presence surrounds you. You will see that peace does not come from circumstances, but from a protection that surpasses understanding. You will see that strength does not come from striving, but from letting me fight for you. My child, what I am doing today is not a temporary repair. I am changing the very structure of your spiritual life. I am uprooting the thoughts that once made you shrink back. I am silencing the voices that made you doubt. I am erasing the marks the enemy left in seasons when you did not even know you were wounded. Every movement in your spirit right now is evidence that I am placing you into something better than what you have just walked out of. And because of that, I need you to keep standing firm, not by your own strength, but by the surrender you have just courageously placed into my hands. You have come this far. Do not turn back again. You have heard my voice. Do not let other voices distract you. You have begun stepping into the light. Do not grieve the old darkness that once made you feel safe. You have found your spiritual breath again. Do not allow anything to choke it, even one more time. I began this battle for you, and I will finish it for you. But I want you to keep walking, even if only in small steps, because every step you take is a declaration that darkness no longer has authority over you. And as you remain in that light, you will see what I have prepared for so long, a life not only saved, but used to rescue. You only need to stand firm. The rest, let me do, my child. Let me speak to you with a breath that is gentle and deep, so your soul does not only hear with the ears, but hears through the very wounds that once made you weary. You are still walking amid countless invitations from the world, empty conversations that seem harmless yet slowly gnaw at the life within you. There are words you heard and thought you forgot, but they remain in your mind. I see the evenings when you are too tired to even open your mouth to pray. I see the mornings when you wake with a worn-out spirit, though your body still functions as usual. It is not that your faith is lacking. You are being pulled from me by things so small you never thought they could destroy you. And because they are small, you dismiss them, until little by little your soul is drained by stories that do not build you, by talk that only muddies your mind, by scattered thoughts that keep you from hearing my voice clearly. The enemy does not attack with a loud roar. It chooses sounds as soft as a whisper. It does not need to tear down the walls. It only needs you to leave a small window open. Distraction is how it throws your heart out of rhythm with me. It wants you preoccupied with what does not nourish you, so your mind grows weary without knowing why. It wants you to sink into meaningless arguments, so you wear down little by little while thinking you are defending what is right. It wants you to feed bitterness, because it knows bitterness does not only wound those you think about, it poisons the deepest place in your soul. And what it hates most is freedom in your mind. Because when your mind belongs to me, it cannot imprison you with any emotional chain. I tell you this not to make you afraid, but to awaken you to truth. Your soul is not bound. You are not being manipulated. You are not a playground for any darkness. You belong to me. And when I speak a word, no power has the right to deny it. I know what you have been going through. Do you think I have not seen? I see how you try to appear normal, while inside you are cracking. I hear the sighs you keep trapped in your chest because you do not want anyone to worry. I feel the emptiness you cover with brief smiles, with the words, "I'm fine," that even you do not believe. You have tried to be a refuge for others, while sometimes you yourself only wanted a shoulder to lean on. You have carried every pressure, trying not to disappoint anyone, trying to be stronger than you truly have been. But did I create you to bear burdens by your own strength? Did I form you to run a race? I never told you to fight alone. I see every invisible cord tightening around you, and I want to loosen them. Only let me touch you. Beloved, I know you have thought that strength is what pleases me. But the strength I desire in you is not suppression, not a false armor, not the kind of self-reliance that fights until collapse. I want strength that comes from surrender, a surrender that lets you exhale gently as though setting the weight down at my feet. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to strain to be acknowledged. You do not need to pretend you are fine to be loved. You are loved by me when you are weak. You are covered by me when you stagger. You are lifted by me when you fall. I want you to understand that surrender is not failure. It is the doorway for my power to work in your life. When you let go, I lift. When you stop, I move. When you admit that you need me, I have room to place my deliverance in the very center of your spirit. My child, let me care for your soul, the way a father gathers a weary child into his arms when they finally come home after a long journey. I do not require you to set everything in order before you come to me. Simply return, and I will do the rest. Let me be the refuge you lean on, not fragile relationships, not conversations that leave you more exhausted, not the thoughts the enemy has sown. Let me be the wall that shelters you, the living water, the fire that restores what has gone cold within you. Come back to what is essential, the altar where you once met me with a simple heart, where you once spoke with me without fear of judgment, where you once prayed. Let that heart live again. I have heard every word you have spoken, whether through tears or in whispers that could not form into sentences. I have held every plea of yours, even the ones that seemed most shattered and weak. I have counted every tear you have shed. Not one has fallen in vain. Not one has been forgotten. I have written the story of your life with a care so precise you could hardly imagine. Every detail has its reason, every season its meaning, every fracture its place in the restoration I am working. Do you think the enemy can touch what I have written? Do you think it can undo what I have sealed? No. My child, it may roar, it may threaten, it may unleash its most subtle attacks, but all of it remains within a boundary, and that boundary is me. No power can pass through my hand to reach what belongs to me. I stand around you. I have filled the gaps you could not see. I have stopped arrows you had not yet recognized. I have set my spirit upon your life as an everlasting seal. No one has the right to remove it. Yet, beloved, there is one thing only you can do: surrender. Not outward surrender, not bowing your head in fear, but the surrender of a heart that knows I am the safest place to lay down everything it carries. Where there is surrender, there is power. Where there is trust, there are miracles. Where you lay down fear, there I place my protection upon you. I want to go deeper in your life, but I will not force you. I wait for you to open the door. When you do, I will pour in. And you will see, when you truly surrender, empty conversations will no longer entice you. Unfruitful arguments will naturally fade. Emotions that once tormented you will no longer rule you. A free soul is not bound by darkness. A mind that belongs to me is not led by chaos. A spirit that is awake is not subdued by insinuations. You will live. My beloved child, be still for a moment, and let me speak to you in the whisper only quiet hearts can hear. There are people very close to you, entering your life each day. Their words touch you, their emotions affect you, yet they themselves are tangled in their own wounds. It is not that they intend to hurt you, nor that they have become your adversaries. It is that they carry deep voids within, cracks not yet healed, and they unknowingly become channels for turmoil they do not even recognize. A heart that has never been bandaged finds it hard to offer gentleness. A soul filled with brokenness struggles to bring peace. And the enemy, crafty and patient, loves to slip into places where love is present, loves to sow suspicion between those who should be holding each other up, loves to fan arguments where peace should dwell. It knows that striking what you love will wound you more deeply than any harm from a stranger. It understands that a careless word, a distorted glance from someone you trust, can be enough to discourage you and shake your faith. And it aims straight at that, stirring small conflicts, thickening misunderstandings, nudging your emotions just enough to form a distance that is not easily repaired. But my child, I will never leave you to walk in darkness without a lamp to guide you. I give you discernment so you can see beyond the surface of things. I place wisdom in your heart so you understand that what you face is not always what it appears to be. I give you strategy so you are not swept into the tug-of-war of emotions and instinctive bursts of anger. For you know this: your battle is not against flesh and blood. It is not against the people your eyes can see. Yet sometimes, in your most vulnerable moments, you forget, and you fight people instead of resisting the spiritual forces hiding behind them. You react to their words, their attitude, their look, and you do not see the enemy sneering in the shadows because it has made you turn your weapon in the wrong direction. The more you plunge into arguments, the more you let emotions control you, the more you are distracted from the real battle, the battle of the soul, the battle of spiritual survival. So I want you to learn again something very important. Guard your thoughts. You cannot stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest in your hair. In the same way, you cannot control everything others say or do, but you can choose what you allow to remain in your mind. Stand watch against thoughts that are not from me, for those thoughts will give birth to words, and words will shape the atmosphere around you. Every sentence you speak carries a spiritual breath, either the breath of life or the breath of weariness and chaos. When you let emotions rule and speak what you feel in the heat of anger, you unknowingly release into the atmosphere the power of death. But when you choose to speak what you believe, even while your heart still trembles, you open the door for me to act. Words are not merely expressions of emotion, they are keys that open or shut spiritual doors. Remember, the spiritual realm is always listening. I hear, angels hear, but the enemy hears as well. When it urges you to speak despair, it wants you to place in its hands the very hammer to crush your hope. When you say, I can't take it anymore, darkness rejoices because it knows you have believed what it has tried to plant within you. But when you stand in exhaustion, in sorrow, in loneliness, and still declare, God is with me, and He will carry me through, you ignite a torch that makes darkness tremble. Heaven not only hears it, it moves when you speak words of faith. You may not see with natural eyes, but your declaration tears through the heavy fog covering your soul, raises the fence of protection again, and opens the way for my intervention. And what moves my heart most is when you speak what I speak, even when your circumstances seem to contradict it. When everything around you screams discord, you choose to speak of peace. When sorrow demands that you acknowledge defeat, you choose to confess hope. When emotion urges you to answer with anger, you choose silence and invite me into it. When tears want to fall because you feel misunderstood, you choose to hold on to my word instead of holding on to pain. You do not realize how powerful that is. My beloved, one small word placed in the right place at the right time can bring down an entire stronghold that Satan has labored to build for years. Many of my children fall not because the enemy is too strong, but because they let the words of others become stronger than my word within them. But I am calling you to a different position, the position of one who knows the spiritual atmosphere shifts with their declarations. When you choose to speak life, life begins to spread. When you choose to speak what I have promised, the promise begins to take root. When you choose to speak spiritual truth, darkness has nowhere to hide. You are not merely resisting, you are reestablishing the environment of your soul. And the peace I place within you will become a shield, guarding you from every influence of others, whether accidental or intentional. You may not realize it, but your words also affect those who are watching you. When they see you not responding from emotion, when they witness your peace not being dragged into the storm of feelings around you, they will know you are being kept by someone greater. You become a living testimony of a kind of strength no one can manufacture by personal resolve. And in that very moment, I use you to rescue many souls, turning within a storm without knowing how to escape. You do not need to do anything grand. Simply by living in the truth I have taught you, you become one who carries light into the dark places of others. So do not fear conflicts that come from those close to you. Look beyond what your eyes can see. When you choose to stand on my word, choose to speak what I say, choose to guard your mind and heart from emotional storms, you will see every attack of the enemy grow weaker. It cannot endure the atmosphere of faith. It cannot exist in an environment of peace. It cannot advance when you refuse to use your words to strengthen it. And day by day, word by word, moment by moment, as you choose to place your trust in me, you become a warrior, not wielding a sharp sword, but using faith as your weapon. And you will see where you stand. My light will stand with you where you step. My life will spread where you open your mouth. Heaven will answer because you have understood the power of words, and you have used it to break through confusion, heal relationships, and keep your soul steady in the invisible yet very real spiritual battle of every day. My child, I want you to sit down in stillness. Breathe deeply and let your heart open as though the whole sky were leaning down to whisper in your ear. Because what I am about to speak is not words to skim for amusement, but living water seeking a way into the deepest place of your soul. Now that you have passed through layers of weariness, now that you have seen every battle is not only fought in circumstances but also within, I want you to step into a deeper realm. The realm of declaration, the realm of authority, the realm of the utterance I long to plant in you. Lift your voice, not so that I may hear, for I already know every beat of your heart, but so that your whole soul may hear itself say, I am standing in the midst of the battle, yet the shadow of your wings covers me. I can feel the pressure closing in, but I will not be crushed, Storms may rage over my head, but your voice is thundering in the lightning, and I no longer tremble. Let those words become a vibration from your innermost being, not a passing breath on your lips. Because when you confess with courage, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifts. Darkness draws back. Light breaks through in layers, and doors that seem sealed begin to move. My power, those words, beloved, are not slogans for quick comfort, not a few positive phrases to soothe you for a moment. They are seeds of a new destiny, keys that open invisible doors, weapons unseen by the eye, yet far mightier than anything the naked eye can behold. When you speak them in faith, I activate them in the depths of the spirit. Then truth is released, power is stirred, and angels move at once according to the word you have spoken in alignment with my will. It is not by accident that you are hearing this. In the very moment you thought you merely paused by chance, you did not stop because you felt like it. It was I who drew you back, held your steps, rearranged what was set in motion, and caused you to meet this moment as a holy appointment. If your spiritual eyes were opened, you would see I placed within you a gentle urging, a slight tug, a nameless tremor that made you pay attention, so you would not miss what could have rescued you before everything became truly worse. This is not an ordinary video, not a random message, not content you watch out of passing curiosity. This is my call traveling through space, slipping into the quiet between the everyday burdens of your life. This is an urgent signal I sent down before that dangerous door could shut, before the enemy tightened the noose one more turn, before you let go because you had no strength left. I am pulling you away from the mouth of a pit you have not yet seen. I am turning the axis of your path before your feet step onto ground laced with traps. I am blocking the ending the enemy wants to force upon you before you realize it has been prowling around your life. You think you stumbled upon this, but heaven pressed this message into your path. It is not luck, it is intervention, it is covering. It is the action of a father who cannot bear to watch his little child be attacked without armor. Receive this not with fleeting emotion, but with the awareness that heaven is touching earth in the moment you open your heart. I am releasing a spiritual command into your life, a command of restoration, a command of protection, a command of turning, a command that forbids darkness from intruding. As you merge with this declaration, you step into a new covenant, not a covenant of fear, but of standing firm. I do not want you merely to survive. I want you to overcome. I do not want you merely to keep going. I want you to walk with the bearing of one I have sealed. I do not want you merely to escape danger. I want you to become a warning bell for other souls who are being swallowed little by little without realizing it. Therefore, every word you speak will become a summons that sets heaven in motion. Every breath you lift in faith will become an arrow shot back into the darkness that has been stalking you. If you feel your heart beating faster, your breathing growing heavier, your eyes filling with emotion for no clear reason, do not treat it as something ordinary. It is your soul recognizing a truth deeper than your mind can grasp. It is the Holy Spirit stirring sealed-off layers you have never opened. It is the sign that I am touching a place you thought was dead. Do not block that flow. Do not muffle that call. Do not stand up and brush it off as though it does not matter. My love is running toward you, not only when you cry out, but even when you are silent, not only when you are strong, but precisely when you shrink back because you have nothing left to hold yourself up. I come to save you before you fall, not to wait for you to fall, and then lift you up. So if you sense this word is for you, true for you, striking straight into the place you cannot speak of, answer me with action. Show your faith, even if only with one small step. Say in your heart or with your lips, Lord, I am taking hold of your hand. When you write it down, when you tap it, it is spiritual resonance, an activation step that helps you enter the protection I have prepared. Your response itself is a declaration to the powers surrounding you that you do not stand alone. You have an owner. You have a refuge. You have a mighty name standing with you. And when you do, a light pierces a dark place you never even knew existed. Every seed you sow from faith returns to your life as a shield. My child, believe this. When you obey, heaven moves. When you respond, I act. When you sow, rescue comes. You step deeper into the embrace of my covering. You are not alone in this moment. I am standing before you, looking straight at you with the gaze of a father who has never stopped loving. And I am saying, step into this protection. Let me intervene. Let me fight for you. Let me open a way you have never known. Because from the moment you confess, from the moment you step forward in faith, from the moment you stretch out your hands to me, the battle around you will change direction, not because you are stronger, but because you have joined yourself to the one stronger than every power. You are being brought into heaven's safe place, and any storm must retreat before the one who covers you. You have entered a new part of your story now, beloved. You have crossed into a realm of light the enemy cannot touch, and it all began with something as simple as answering this call. If you want me to keep leading you deeper, I will walk with you to the very end of the journey. All you must say is, I am ready. My child, before I speak anything more, I want you to know that every breath you breathe out right now, every slow and heavy beat within your chest, I see and I understand. I am the one who searches the hidden thoughts. I know everything you dare not say to anyone. I hear even the prayers you have never formed into words. And though I know all the things you think are not enough, not worthy, not strong, I still choose to love you, as at the beginning. I still call your name among a million other sounds. I still reach out once more to clothe you with my presence. For in this spiritual war, where invisible arrows fly through your inner world, where blows make no sound, yet make you want to quit, I know this with certainty. You have not reached the end. What I promised, what I planted in you from the earliest days, what I wrote into the timeline of your life, nothing has ended. You are still walking, and I am still fighting for you. I am the shield before you when you face what is beyond your strength. I am the one behind you when you turn away in exhaustion. I cover both sides, so you do not have to tremble in the fight, believing you are alone in a darkness with no escape. So, my child, pause for a moment right here. You do not need to do anything. Just be still. Still as an evening when the wind stops blowing, as a lake when the ripples settle, as a heart when it realizes someone is drawing near with unconditional love. Let your whole soul quiet down just enough to feel what you often overlook. I am here, not as far as you imagine, not as silent as you assume, not as invisible as you have sometimes feared. In the moment you release every burden, in the moment you stop trying to look strong, in the moment you let your shoulders drop a little, that is when my spirit begins to wrap around you. I am stroking your soul with a gentleness you lost while running after too many things. I am speaking to you in the tone only the truly still can hear. My child, breathe. You are not alone. I stepped into the battle before you even realized you were under attack. These words are not only comfort, they are truth in eternity, firmer than every feeling you carry in your heart. And now, as your spirit grows more sensitive to my breath, when you find your heart a little quieter, a little lighter, even though nothing around you has changed, I want to open your eyes to see more deeply what is truly happening. There are two kinds of battles, the kind you can see and the kind only your soul can feel. The battle, visible to the naked eye, hard circumstances, opposing people, limits right in front of you, is actually less dangerous than you think. Because when you can see it, you know what to pray into, what to confront, and what to avoid. But the second battle, the silent battle waged in the hidden corners of the soul, the battle without a name, without a blade, without a form, that is what has been exhausting you to the very edge. It comes through unexplainable emptiness, through days when you cannot cry, yet cannot feel joy either. It hides behind moments when you stand in a crowd and still feel alone. It lives in those nights when you turn off the light, close your eyes, yet sleep refuses to come, leaving your heart suspended between wanting to let go and being afraid to. This is not weakness. It is not your failure. This is where the spiritual battle rages most fiercely, from the inside out, from what no one can see to the outward actions you do not even understand yourself. You have not imagined it. You have not made it bigger than it is. You are not as weak as you think. You are in a real battle, a battle that did not begin because you went the wrong way, but precisely because you are walking the right way. The enemy is not afraid of those who sit still, who do not pray, who do not seek me. It trembles before those who, even when weary, still choose to trust me, who, even when nothing seems to change, still open their mouth to pray, who, even when everything is silent, still choose to worship. It fears your perseverance. It despises your endurance. It shakes at the fact that you keep getting back up even after being thrown down again and again. What others call small, I call treasure, and those very things are what make the darkness waver. I have seen it all. I have seen you in the morning forcing yourself out of bed while your heart feels heavy as stone, yet you still whisper, Lord, I still choose to believe you. I have seen the moment you refused something that looked appealing, but your soul knew it was not from me. I have seen you pray for others at night, even when you are not sure who is praying for you. I have seen your eyes lift toward heaven on your darkest days. Not one of these things has slipped past my attention. You think I am silent, but in truth, I am recording every moment of your faithfulness. Nothing you do for me is forgotten. And my child, when I watch you take each step, sometimes slow, sometimes unsteady, I do not see a fragile child. I see a warrior being formed. I see a soul learning how to stand in the dark without losing the spark within. I see someone I am training to go deeper into faith, not merely to stand on the outside and observe. I see a heart that aches for what is right, that grows weary for what is good, that sacrifices quietly. You do not see yourself changing, but I do. You do not think you are growing stronger, but I know these invisible battles are not meant to destroy you, but to fortify you from within, to teach you to recognize me, not by sight, but by spirit, and to show you that true strength does not come from what you strain to hold, but from what you lay down. Keep breathing. Keep stilling your heart a little more, because I am not finished speaking to you. What you have endured, the long nights, the doubts, the negative whispers, the attacks no one saw, has all been shaping within you a stronger love and a deeper compassion for those who are fighting as you are. I am preparing you not only to stand firm, but to become a shelter for the weak around you. You have learned how to fight alone, but soon you will learn how to awaken others who have fallen into spiritual sleep. You will learn how to place your hand on someone's shoulder and pass on the strength I have given you. You once thought you had nothing to offer, but, my child, healed wounds always carry a kind of fragrant oil that those who have never suffered cannot possess. And I want you to see this as well. Every tear you have shed, every word that has caught in your throat, every time you chose me instead of the weight of yourself, these are becoming a testimony far greater than you imagine. I am not healing you only so you can feel happy. I am healing you so that through you the hopeless may still have a chance to live. I am gradually shaping you into a trumpet that awakens those who have been sleeping through the battle, into one who stands in the gap, interceding for family, for loved ones, for those I have placed in your life. You do not realize that every time you intercede, every whisper you lift toward heaven, every time you support someone who is collapsing from exhaustion, all of it is forming a spiritual region of light that darkness cannot approach. So walk on with me, my child, not in fear, but with the certainty that I am very near, not in the strain of self-effort, but in surrender that makes you lighter, not in the anxiety of being defeated, but in the assurance that I have never left anyone to fight alone. You are drawing near to the season I have prepared, and nothing you have walked through has been meaningless. I am connecting every piece into a picture far larger than you can imagine. You keep walking. The rest I will complete. My child, do you understand that every breath you take in, every thought you nurture, every action you carry out, no matter how small, carries a spiritual weight far beyond what the natural eye can see? Every gesture, every step, every word you speak is sowing seeds. And those seeds are preparing to sprout at the time I appointed before the foundation of the earth. Nothing in you is accidental, and no moment is pointless. Everything is being woven together into a wondrous tapestry that only I can fully see. Yet right as you are about to step into that season of blossoming, at the very moment you think you are only taking ordinary steps, in the unseen realm, a powerful shift is taking place. The spiritual sky is changing. Doors I have kept closed for a long time are beginning to open. The waiting you could not put into words is preparing to become reality. You have not recognized it yet, but the enemy has felt it clearly, and because it senses it before you do, it is urgently accelerating its dark schemes, trying to stop the good things I have already stirred within your life. It knows the harvest is nearer than ever. It feels heaven's atmosphere quiver. It sees angels taking their positions. It sees grace pouring into your life. It sees my plan forming with a clarity that cannot be reversed. That is why it tries to yank hard at the weak places in your heart, trying to pull you into a spiral of weariness, so you lose direction, so you believe you are not enough, so you think a miracle will never come to you. It wants you to slow down before you realize you are standing at the threshold of breakthrough. Its goal is not only to make you sad or to tire you out. It wants to create an inner crisis, a fracture in your spirit, so that you let go right before the finish line. It knows it cannot touch what I have ordained for you, so it aims at you, at your perseverance, at your faith, at the heart that is trying to cling to me through exhaustion. It wants to strike the source within, because it understands that if you lose faith, you will step back from the path of glory I have for you, without it ever having to push you. But, beloved, do not be afraid. I see all of it before it can come near you. I do not merely know the enemy's plan, I actively stop it before it even takes root. I am the one who has watched every movement of yours, who does not sleep, does not grow weary, and is never indifferent to the waves that try to crash over you. When the enemy tried to raise a storm inside your heart, I rose up before it. When darkness tried to slip through your thoughts to plant fear and doubt, I sent angels to surround you. I released commands from my throne to protect you, not when you are strong, but at your weakest. Because I know the moment you are approaching is too precious to be stolen. I do not allow any force to touch your soul without passing through me first, and no darkness is great enough to overcome the light I have placed around you. Do you know that before the enemy could plant a single negative thought within you, I had already spoken words over you? Those words are not sounds your ears can hear. They are invisible currents of power flowing around you, shattering every scheme aimed at your soul. I have released angels, not in small groups, but an entire host appointed to guard your journey, step by step, minute by minute, breath by breath. Not one who seeks to harm you can pass them. I have placed my mark upon your life, upon your home, upon everything I have entrusted to your hands. I have marked you with my blood, the blood of redemption, of protection, of the declaration that you belong to me and no power has the right to touch you. Just as in ancient Egypt, when doorposts were marked with the blood of the Lamb and every plague had to pass over, so today your life bears that sign, the sign that every darkness must fear. And, my child, not only do I keep you, I break every trap the enemy sets before you ever touch it. Some things you thought were coincidence were, in truth, my turning, so you would avoid attacks aimed straight at your soul. Some people left your life, and you did not understand why. I told them to go so you would not be wounded. Some doors closed and it grieved you, but I closed them so you would not step into danger. Some conversations suddenly ended, some intentions were delayed, some plans did not happen in time, and you thought you had failed, but I was shielding you from what you could not see. I stand between you and every scheme trying to reach your life, and I do it not because you have earned it, but because you belong to me. Do not think that my protection comes only when you pray a great deal. You are guarded even when you fall silent from exhaustion. Do not think you must prove your faithfulness before I rise for you. I rise even before you realize you are under attack. I do not wait for you to be perfect to act. I act to keep you whole in a battle you do not yet fully understand. For in heaven and on earth, there is no love stronger than the love I have for you, and no power greater than the word I have spoken to protect you. You see only a very small part of what I am setting in motion. You see the present, but I have already seen the end. You see the test, but I see the glory. You see fear, but I see victory. And I have decided to stand on your side. What I am building within you will not be hindered. What I have spoken will not be withdrawn. The words I place in your mouth will not return void. Even if the enemy tries to push you into weariness, tries to make you doubt your worth, tries to convince you that you have lost your way, there remains one unshakable truth. I am fighting for you. You do not walk alone. You do not resist by your own strength. You are not abandoned in the night. And even if the enemy launches its last arrows, it still cannot touch what I have appointed for you. Be steadfast. For the moment you are living is the crossing point between testing and fulfillment, between darkness and dawn, between attack and the victory drawing near. What feels heavy today is not a sign of defeat, but the sound of breakthrough approaching. Hold to me little by little, breath by breath. I am covering you. I am keeping you. I am making a way before you. And when the moment I have appointed arrives, you will look back and understand that no tear was wasted, no weariness was meaningless, and no night was ever so long that I could not light it. My child, let me speak to you with words that are gentle, yet strong enough to pierce through the quiet fatigue you cannot put into language. I have guarded your life more than you have ever realized. There were events that came near the doorstep of your home, yet I stopped them before they could so much as touch your breath. There were arrows of darkness released from places you never expected, yet they shattered before they could reach even your clothing. Evils that many generations in your family line once trembled before, I dealt with at the root, refusing to let them cling to you, or repeat themselves in your life. I rendered powerless the words meant to bring you down, and those who longed to see you collapse fell silent when they could not explain why you still stood. For you belong to me, and whoever lays a hand on you touches what I hold most carefully in the palm of my hand. But listen very closely to my words, for there is something I want to tell you, not to frighten you, but to teach you how to preserve what I have placed within you. Though I have pushed back countless calamities, I still require watchfulness from you, because my protection and your vigilance walk together. You cannot freely open every door, keep every relationship, or lean on every habit without discernment. For there are things you assume are harmless that become pathways for hidden assaults. I do not want to see you fighting what should never have had the chance to touch your life. Therefore, there are doors you must close. Close them tightly, even if you have grown used to knocking on them every day. There are people you must learn to step away from, even when attachment makes you feel guilty. There are habits you must decisively lay down, even if they have been part of your life for many years. You do not fully understand why this is necessary, but I see what lies beneath the surface, what your eyes cannot yet see. Know this: darkness never arrives first as a roaring storm. It comes through a small crack, a small concession, a small moment of loosened guard. Spiritual attacks cannot gain ground without an opening. The enemy does not seek to shove down a great door. It only needs you to forget the latch, only needs you to let your guard slip through one long night, only needs you to grow accustomed to compromise without even realizing it. You think you are fine, but I have seen your soul growing lighter in ways it should not. You think you are strong, but your strength is slowly drained by small pleasures, small distractions, small detours you tell yourself are harmless. You think you are standing firm, but the winds of this world do not strike your feet first. They strike your heart, your mind, the places you protect the least. I know, for I have seen the enemy use those very small things to unsettle many of my children before they could step into the new season I prepared. But beloved, no matter how subtle the enemy may be, if you remain in me, it cannot break through the hedge I have raised around you. When you choose to abide in me, not by fierce striving, but by wholehearted surrender, I will cover you with a protection no force can pierce. I will be the shield before you, the steadfast wall behind you, the refuge of your soul amid sudden whirlwinds. Though the world may sway, though you hear bad news everywhere, though there are things that make people tremble, I can still keep you in peace as though you were standing outside the storm. And when the winds rise, I will not let your feet slip. I set you upon a rock prepared long before you ever learned what fear was, not because you are strong enough to balance yourself in raging waves, but because I keep you standing on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Remember this: many who look at you will not understand what you are walking through. They see your calm face, but they do not see the times you wept quietly and nights you never told anyone about. They see you as strong, but they do not know there were moments your heart became so tender you feared one more word would shatter it. They see you as resilient, but they do not know how many times you wanted to let go, yet still chose to stand because you did not want to disappoint anyone. They do not see the silent battles in your mind, the struggles you do not know how to name, the wounds you hide well because you fear that if anyone sees them, they will think you are weak. But my child, I see it all. I know what you have been through, what you have endured, how hard you have tried. I know there are comments, looks, misunderstandings that have hurt you more than you dare admit. And because of that, I want you to know this: true defense is not found in you tensing yourself to appear strong, but in you abiding in me and letting me become your fortress. I did not raise you to be alone in this battle. I raised you to be protected and to become one who can carry that protection to trembling souls. You do not need to shout. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. The peace I place within you will be the clearest testimony. Your steadiness in the storm will make others marvel and seek me. The times I lift you up will become stories that pull others out of despair. You think you are merely surviving, but in truth, I am shaping you into a dwelling place through which my strengthening can flow. Therefore, stay watchful so you do not create openings the enemy can exploit. I will be with you, but I want you to cooperate with me by honoring your soul. Do not throw it into things that weaken it. Choose what nourishes faith. Choose relationships that steady you. Choose thoughts that lead you into peace. When you learn to place yourself rightly, I will do the rest. I will keep you. I will make a way. I will heal you. I will turn what once wounded you into the very place you grow stronger. And even if you do not say it aloud, I know there are things you only dare to whisper within, fears you do not want to face, questions you have not yet dared to ask. You do not need to explain to me. I understood before you ever thought to speak. My child, do not forget that you are not ordinary. You are the one I chose, the one I keep, the one I called by name from deep within darkness to step into the light. You bear my mark, an imprint of belonging that no power in heaven, on earth, or in the shadows can erase. I am not only protecting your body from danger, I am guarding your soul, sustaining your peace, preparing you to step into a new season of glory you have not yet fully seen. But to enter it, you must stay alert. Be careful what you allow into your heart. Close the doors that no longer belong to you, and release what holds you in places I never intended. Every choice is a step toward light or toward darkness. And I am inviting you to walk with me, step by sure step, step by steady step, step by step, into a new life, no longer threatened by small openings. Be bold to entrust to me the things you fear losing. For I never take what is good from you. I only uproot what can harm you. And in its place, I give what is firm, what is pure, what is filled with life. And as you walk this way, you will see your life no longer sways as it once did. You will see the winds that used to exhaust you no longer have the strength to knock you down. You will see me doing something new in your life quietly, yet clearly, gently, yet profoundly. And in that moment, you will understand that everything I have spoken to you today is not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you to stand firm when the world shakes. In this moment, open your heart so that every word rises not only from your lips, but from the deepest place in your soul. Present to me your longings, your inner wrestlings, the places you want me to touch and renew. Almighty God, I come before you with a heart that has been stirred and awakened by your presence, powerful yet gentle. I ask you to draw me out of every silent, dark place that has drained me, the places I have not known how to name. Pour into me the living water that renews the soul. Take away the confusion, the depletion, the loneliness that has followed me for far too long. Restore me from the deepest corners of my inner being where I once withdrew out of fear, or because I thought I was not worthy. Make my heart tender, sensitive to your voice, so that from this day forward, I will not walk by my own strength, but by the breath and power that come from heaven. Father, you who have seen every tear I tried to hide, I come to you. I ask you to wash away the remnants of fear, insecurity, and doubt that still cling to my soul. Lay your hand upon my mind, and remove the lying voices that once convinced me I was alone and weak. Draw me closer to you, that my soul may lean on you. Grant me discernment to recognize your ways and courage to keep moving forward in the promise you are opening before me. Lord, you are the one who sees the weariness no one else sees, the emptiness I cannot speak, the silence I am afraid to face. I ask you to heal hidden wounds, the spiritual places worn down by distraction and the enemy's quiet arrows. Warm again the fire that has grown cold within me, so that I would long for you not out of duty, but because I know only in you can I find true life. Make my faith steady, not wavering, not fragile, and lead me out of the old season as one who has been wholly renewed. I rest myself in you, Lord, the one who never abandons me in the battle. Lord, I thank you for not leaving me in my weakest moments. I thank you that your tenderness has soothed the aching places in me that I thought were already dead. I thank you that every word you speak is life. I am grateful that you have drawn me out of emptiness and set me in a place full of hope. Every renewal in me belongs to you, and it is only by your grace that I am still standing today. God, I thank you for using even my wounds to build new strength in my life. I thank you that you see what no one sees, and you heal what no one can heal. I am grateful that you did not condemn me when I was tired, but brought me into your rest, so my soul could be revived. I give thanks that I no longer live in uncertainty, but in the light and truth that come from you. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to share.